Hey guys, it's Infamous.sevens here from the Precinct project. I'm here in London. It's 10:30 p.m. I'm here talking to Eyesofsiul. It's good to have you on the show.
What's good? And it's 5:30 Orlando, Florida time. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Let's start off with some of the simple things, just to get to know you. Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Lewis. First off, I'm from Orlando, Florida. Is like 4 hours away from Miami, so a little central. And I'm out here just taking pictures, meeting people, connecting, and just creating, just trying to figure everything out, piecing everything together, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's all about enjoying the simple things,
For sure.
Yeah. So, tell me, how would you describe your photographic style? Because when I was looking at your imagery for the next issue 2, you really have this distinctive style, and it really does come across as someone who's been shooting for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just I try to keep my mind and my eyes open to anything, you know what I mean? So whatever I'm inspired by, whatever draws my attention to whatever it is, I really feel like I don't have a certain style, because it's I can jump from landscape and street photography and traveling photography, and then I can just jump and do portraits and stuff like that. And I really feel like it's ever changing, you know what I mean? Because I don't feel the same every day. I don't feel the same next week and next month. I might be feeling something different. I might be inspired by something different. So I feel I guess whatever I'm feeling is what I'm gonna give out, is what the style or the vibe that I'm gonna give out. I do try to keep a concentration on color and stuff like that, and shadows and lighting and stuff like that. And but as far as that, I just feel my style is probably it's there, but it's always room for improvement and stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But tell me this, right? I mean, it's great to always keep open, because I think versatility is such an important thing as a photographer. Being able to adapt and bring your technique with you. But what is it that makes your photography your own? What do you think it is that really defines you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just I take stuff from my personal life. It's stuff that I feel if I want to draw an emotion from a picture, and I just had a shitty week, I'm gonna either get a model, set something up, and it's just I want to take a bunch of pictures, and then there's just one that describes my emotion, my feeling for that week, what I'm saying? So just I try to my focus more now is just trying to draw emotions from my images. It used to just be go out and shoot and try to catch the dopest shot or whatever, but now it's more trying to convey a message or an emotion or just a moment in time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me as well, when you manage to evolve your style over time, from trying to get a dope shot, like you said, maybe a cool long exposure or something like that. When you practice your photography up to a certain point, I think what you wind up doing is creating art.
Exactly. You get more picky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, people always say how as a photographer you wind up picking 2 shots out of 1,000, and for me personally as well, I find that not only do I wind up picking 2 shots out of however, but I wind up shooting less because I know what to look for, and that comes
exactly
with photography. And I think you can really tell when someone has that keen eye with what they do.
Definitely.
So when you search for emotion, is there anything you refer to in terms of your inspirations or people you look up to? I mean, let's first off start specifically in the Instagram community.
Not so much more now but back in the day, yes. I would go to Instagram to get inspired and look at like what this dude is doing. I'm like, yo, how can I do that better or interpret it in my way? Of course, you're always gonna get, be in those places or in those situations where like, this photographer has shot this before and you try to like recreate it. But I think that's the fun part about it, right? Like no two images are the same, you know what I mean? Sure. But as far as me, like I try to just go in it like really like open-mindedly. Like I'm very like spontaneous, you know what I mean? So like I can have something like planned out to the T, and then like when it's moment to like execute it, like I'll see something and it'll change my whole perspective, my whole mind of the direction of where I want to go with the shoot, especially if I'm shooting with like a model or something. Like if I get like a different vibe from them, especially if I haven't never like shot with them before, then I might go take a different route, like I just might just like try to tap into their world and stuff like that and try to capture that, what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Having that awareness of your environment is what makes I think it really is what makes you a good photographer, being able to vibe with the environment and really like concentrate and be there and be aware of all the little details.
Exactly.
But yeah, tell me, who is it when you started out on Instagram, was there anyone who inspired you?
Yeah, when I started out, it was definitely Trash Hand.
Okay.
Trash Hand was a big influence. I love his architectural work. Like he kills it out there, you know what I mean? So like when I saw that and like in a few other Instagrammers that like I can't remember their name right now, but like when I realized, being on the app like so early on, that I'm like, yo, like this photography thing is like a thing. You know what I mean? Like this is crazy. Like it's popping, like it used to be in a time where like when Instagram was just like for iPhone users only, you know what I mean? So it was just like seeing these people like killing it through this app. I was just like, taking pictures of like my food and shit. Like I was like, wait a minute, like I gotta switch it up. Like, I had a camera, at that time as well. So I would integrate that into my feed and kind of like, try to find myself, within this art form, you know what I mean? And Instagram definitely helped me with that. Trash Hand, of course, like I said, like Trash Hand was definitely that dude for me. And it just spiraled from there,
Okay, yeah. I mean, with the Precinct project, that's what I try and do is like inspire others to want to go and create. And I think it's really what I believe in is like a butterfly effect, So
definitely.
like even like the smallest drop in an ocean can like change everything, like
yeah, definitely. So, like if you look at them, you look at Trash Hand, you look at 13th, they're like, they're top of the totem pole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they inspired, people like us, and and then we're creating what we're creating, and then when people get put onto the powers of Instagram, we're inspiring them, you know what I mean? And it kind of like trickles down.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's really crazy, man. When you think about it, it's like like it
it's
can
insane.
Change everything, man. Really, like
hell yeah.
I mean, if you have like a kid out there who like, I don't know, like I always thought about it like in a way of inspiration, if you have like one kid out there who may be like troubled or has had a troubled life or something, you could like make them, do something more positive through photography, And
definitely.
It's great how
it's definitely became another like outlet. You know what I mean? Like instead of like wanting to be a rapper, you can be a photographer. You know what I mean? And still be considered like cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that didn't exist like 5 years ago. You know, like it was either like you're a poppin' like rock star rapper or you're nothing. You know what I mean? Like like photography is definitely like it reminds me a lot of like hip hop. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you're popping in the photography world, you get the props. You feel good. You're inspiring others, or you aspire to be as great. It's definitely became another lane.
Yeah, like what you said, I was about to say the same thing. It definitely has become its own lane, and I've seen you've done a lot of talking about rappers, you've done a lot of work with like rappers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was looking at Boat.
Oh yeah, Lil Boat.
Yeah.
Yachty.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us how you wound up working with him?
Well, yeah. So I shot for this festival called Rolling Loud here in Miami, and I got invited out there by a friend, and she's really heavily into the concert photography. So she like reached out and she was like, hey, I see that you want to do, you shoot dope pictures. You want to come and shoot for Rolling Loud? I'm like, hell yeah. So at that time, Rolling Loud was in its second year. And a lot of the artists, I didn't know who they were, you know, like I've heard their names, but I didn't like really dive into their music. And so when I got there, you know, it was just a total crazy experience, because, you know, you get behind the scenes action, and, you know, you're chilling there with the rappers, like, you know, they're just lounging around, just, you know, and you're just there, you know. So, you know, I definitely took the opportunity, you know, to just, you know, shoot these artists, especially Yachty at that time. At the first Rolling Loud that I shot, you know, he was just coming up, you know.
Oh yeah.
And just seeing him there, and then seeing him just, you know, this past May again, I was able to shoot it again, and, you know, seeing his growth, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just see it, man. You know, it's like they're out there hustling, they're grinding, and, you know, just like we are, you know.
Oh yeah. It's just like real people, right? Not just TV screens. It's crazy how you managed to shoot Future as well. Future's like,
Future, that was crazy. Like when he went on to the stage, it was like they're like everybody was like pushed back. They cleared out the whole, you know, the behind the stage. Like there's nobody allowed, you know, in the back of the house. So we got pushed out into the crowd, and I managed to like circle around and like go into like this VIP pit, where like it was only for people that paid like the extra money to be super close. And I was talking to the bouncer. I was like, yo, like I'm shooting for the event, you gotta let me through. He's like, no man, absolutely nobody. You know, like they were getting real tight with the security, and I was like, man, I have to shoot this set, you know. And it was like, so yes, I got through, and I was able to shoot Future. That was dope.
Man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, man. Future's really up there, man. He's got his own energy, like especially in his songs. It's just like a non-stop amount of just like energy, and like, you know, people can vibe to. Yeah.
Hit after hit after hit, bro. Like there wasn't not one hit that was played on that stage, bro.
Really?
It was lit from beginning to end.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there was like no slow songs. Like no, the crowd was like upside down, bro.
I
was
heard,
crazy.
Yeah, I heard it can be quite hard to get tickets for those sorts of places, and like Frank Ocean as well. I've been wanting to see like a Frank Ocean
show,
you know,
that would be amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like you know, he's like Erykah Badu or like a Lauryn Hill, you know what I mean? It's a rarity to see that kind of artist, you know.
Yeah. Do you think you're ever gonna shoot Frank Ocean?
I mean, I would love to. You know, if I work hard enough, I feel like maybe if the stars align, you know, like I'll be able to, you know, be in a situation where I could, you know. That would be pretty dope.
That's crazy, man. Have you heard Blonde?
Of course.
Like the track Nights.
Yes.
It's like his album. Like I heard that people find it hard to work with him because he's such a perfectionist. And when you hear his music, you can actually hear the level of detail. Like everything is like planned out, you know, to a ridiculous level. Like so, it sounds like almost like Beethoven, you know.
Yeah,
like,
and it was crazy.
Like
because it's like that. I heard it like in Blonde. Like he didn't even use any drums. Like it was like there was like no heavy drums in his songs. Like it was like more like melodies, and like there wasn't like no heavy 808s or anything like that. I remember reading that in an article. I was like, yo, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of rappers, I think, a lot of like artists get their instruments to carry them these days. You know, like really carry them. But with Frank Ocean, when you listen to his music, it's really like if you look at the old, like really old school like Beethoven and like, you know, the concert pianists, you know, where they would like plan everything out to this like great level where it would be this like amazing symphony, you know. When you listen to his music, it's like he just takes it to like that another level. Especially with his with his songs and his art and everything like that, you know.
Definitely.
Who's your favorite person that you've shot so far?
Favorite person I've shot has to be Kendrick.
Oh,
you know, Kendrick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad.
You know, I was able to shoot him like, you know, this past Rolling Loud, and it was pretty dope because like every artist has like their set of rules. Like, you know, some artists just want you there for one song, and some artists let you there for 3 songs. Some artists just want you there for like 15 seconds and they clear the pit.
Wow.
You know, so, you know, Kendrick was, I guess, cool enough. We were there for 3 songs. Wow. You know, and some of the guys that I was there shooting with, they stood for the whole thing and they recorded and took pictures of the whole thing. But but it was pretty dope. Just you know, just being like in front of you know the top hip hop heavyweight. You know, it was Kendrick Lamar. You know,
that's wild.
So that was definitely the funnest one, man, for sure.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like when you think about Kendrick, you think about like Tupac and stuff like that, you know. Like,
yeah,
I
bro,
mean,
he's one of the greats.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, I mean, imagine if like Kendrick got killed or something like that. You'd be like the only person that you know that's like seen Kendrick.
Bro, I'll take it to heart.
It's crazy. It's crazy because he's
at
right now. He could be like a legend if he died like instantly.
Exactly, bro.
Because he's
man. The magnitude that he's reached is insane, man. And then like the music backs it up. Like his music is
incredible music.
Like he's so needed in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like he's like such a essential piece of like the whole thing. Exactly, with J. Cole.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. I love his music, man. Yeah, cool. So well, one topic I like to talk about with people when I'm with them, like out in public, is like you know, you've done a lot of professional work. Have you studied photography?
Nah, it's all self-taught.
Okay, like what would you say for the people out there who want to study photography, want to take that college degree in photography, you know? Like, would you tell them to go with it, or I mean, what would you say to them? Like,
I mean, I would tell them, like, you know, if that's the route that they want to take, I would say go for it. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some things that they could pick up that you know, that you can't learn until like later down the road, you know, teaching yourself. You know, I'm pretty sure there's like pointers that they can pick up and, you know, and things like that. But I feel like, you know, me personally, I always learn more when I'm out there doing, you know, when I'm more hands-on. So I would also tell them that, hey, you know, the best part about it is just going out there and just getting your hands dirty and you know, experimenting with lighting and experimenting with this and, you know, trying to figure it all out, you know, because that's, you know, you can learn all you want book wise, but, you know, you don't learn until you actually out there in the field, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, it's good to get your perspective on that. Yeah, talking about lighting, I noticed you have some really good black and white images as well. Like, why would you say, why do you think it is that black and white images don't get as much love on like, you know, social media or, you know, out there on the web? Because I think black and white images are like almost like the truest form of photography, you know? Yeah, what do you think it is that's stopping, you know, black and white from, you know, really coming back again, you know?
I mean, honestly, I don't, you know, it's just, I guess it's just the viewer, you know what I mean? It's all depends on the viewer, because, you know, as photographer, you know, on Instagram, there's always like, you know, the photographer community, and then there's like the masses, you know, like people that just consume it, you know? So, you know, I feel like maybe people that don't have like a general understanding of it, they might not appreciate it as much, you know. But if like, you know, we were to come across like a picture that's like super dope and it's black and white, we're like, holy crap, like this shit is crazy, like, you know what I mean, like the lighting, the composition, like this is insane, you know. But so like I just feel like it's just the level of appreciation that you have, you know, for photography. So I think it's probably more, you know, more than others. You know?
Do you think that comes, the appreciation for black and white, do you think that comes more with the amount that you shoot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, because when I started, everything was color, everything was super saturated, you know. You know, it wasn't until later down the line where I'm like, you know, black and white images really spoke to me, and I was like, I can just convey, you know, what I want to convey just in black and white, you know. And but it definitely comes with time. I feel you know, in my personally.
I mean, it's the same for me. Like when I started, it was like so saturated. I would rarely do like a black and white. And I mean, just looking at some photographers, and you know, for experimentation and stuff like that, I think like if you can make a good black and white shot, like an amazing black and white shot, then, you know, after that, once you learn the use of colors, then you can definitely make a good colored shot, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the same with cameras. If you can make like great photos with an iPhone, then you can make amazing photos with a DSLR, you know? Because it's all about how you limit yourself and then train yourself to become a better photographer, I think.
Exactly, I agree.
But yeah, you definitely have some great black and white images, man.
Appreciate that.
How long have you been shooting for?
Well, I picked up a camera in 2010. my cousin that's a DJ here locally. I bought it because of him. You know, he would DJ at these events, and I was like, you know what? I'll just get a camera and I'll take pictures. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's kind of how it started. And you know, I would take pictures at these events, and I didn't start taking it seriously till like, you know, 2.5 years ago. You know, so it kind of just stemmed from that.
Okay. And was that to like help him out, or was that like?
Yeah, that was basically, you know, it was just to like shoot his events, you know, and you know, pay, you know, for him to have content for Facebook, you know, because Facebook was the most popping app like back in the day, you know. Yeah. So it was just like content for that, and then you know, the club promoters be like, hey, you know, come take pictures at this club, and I would just, you know, get paid to just shoot pictures at clubs, and that's what I would do, you know, and then just go home, like either put their logo, stamp a logo on there, and then just send it to them, and that was pretty much it, you know. And then, you know, and then I would just use it for like, you know, as a hobby, just go out there and shoot some pictures with my friends and stuff like that. But I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like taking pictures, you know. I always had like, you know, a liking to pictures. You know, I would sit at home and look at like old pictures and be like, yo, like draw the emotion out of the picture, you know, like I could understand that, but I never took it serious till like 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's such a complex and deep understanding that you get from like certain images that you just can't. I mean, it's like hard to explain. It's almost like an infinity, like something to do with your soul. Like, I know it sounds weird. It sounds weird, but it's like,
I understand.
It's like some sort of like connection that you get between that, and it's really creating those memories and creating those that vivid imagery while also maintaining that technical perfection. You know, I think that's what draws me as well to photography. And when you started out, when you were shooting clubs, is that how you like really started out?
Yeah, that's when I first held my first professional camera.
Okay, that's crazy.
Like my first DSLR.
That's a crazy way to learn.
Yeah, so I bought a Nikon. It was like a Nikon D6 or something like that, like a super old Nikon. And you know, and then you know, from there I got a Canon T2i, and I was rocking with that. And then you know, I just, you know, upgraded to what I have now. So you know, it was just something that I learned through, you know, just learning with time. You know, learning how to shoot in low light. You know, learning how to shoot with flash, and you know. That's I gotta say, man, that's a real hardcore way to learn photography. It's like by doing like concerts. It's just like not knowing anything about photography and just going out there and shooting. Yeah.
That's like giving someone a rifle and sending them to fucking Vietnam, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're like, I imagine like when you were shooting, you were just like standing there, like, fuck, what do I do? Like, like
using the little pop-up flash.
Oh my god, yeah. I remember when I was like with my like. Yeah, when I was like with my old camera, you know, just like, you know, doing events and stuff like that, it was just like that, like, and you still have that, you know, like the fear of like preparing beforehand before you shoot. You're like, oh crap, like you're like, it's like you're going to like NFL.
You know what? Just throw it on automatic.
It's like everything that you stand for just goes down the bin when you choose that like auto feature.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. But it's man, it's good. So what equipment do you use when you're shooting?
Well, right now I'm shooting with a Canon 6D.
Oh yeah, that's a great camera, man.
And I edited through Photoshop and Lightroom.
What's your lens?
I use a 24-70.
Is that the L or?
Yeah, the L series lens.
Yeah, Canon L. Okay.
And I also have like 85mm 1.2 L. But you know, I use that for like more portraiture and stuff like that. I'm trying to like incorporate it with my street photography too, because you know, I like the depth of field on it, but. I haven't really like, in Orlando, for, you know, there's not really much to shoot out here, you know, as far as like street. So, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to like using that, you know, for my later travels and stuff.
Okay. Tell me this, what's like the real difference? Like, I mean, the real difference for you, because when I have the 60 as well, I have the 35mm Sigma art lenses. Like,
yeah,
incredible.
I had that one also.
It's really good, right? But what's the difference between the 35 and the 85 for portraiture?
Honestly, it's just that bokeh, man. That crisp, blurry, that you get from it. Like, you focus on your subject and everything else is blown out, and that focal length is not one that I can say that I've experimented too much outside, like in the real world, but in studio, it just gives you so much like detail, what I mean? Like you can just like focus on like the eyes, or you can focus on like a certain part of the body,
crazy.
And it's just
crazy.
Yeah, and it's more, in whatever situation it is, and from my experience, it's just the detail that you get from it. The 35 is just, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, is it really that different from the 1.4 to the 1.2? Is it really like that big of a difference for you?
Honestly, I can tell the difference if I'm shooting at 1.2. Being that I have owned a 35 1.4 Sigma Art, I can see the difference, but it's not enough to be like, yo, I need that 85 though. You know what I mean? It's just if I didn't get rid of my 35, I probably would have been still shooting on the 35. It's not that much of a difference.
Well, why did you sell the 35, by the way?
I sold the 35 because I think that I got a defective one. Like mine would back focus way too much.
Okay. Now this is an interesting thing, right? Because I've heard this from someone else as well. I think my one personally is fucking perfect. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Now tell me, what do you mean by, what was the issue with your one?
So mine, I would literally, be taking a portrait of somebody or something. I would, the 6D, the focus point is dead in the middle, right? I would focus on the subject. I would take multiple shots, and some of them would be in focus, and some of them won't. Wow. And I'm just like, it would just like baffle me. I would get home, like, because of course on the LCD screen, it looks cool, like everything's great. But when you get home and I blew them up, and I'm like, I look at the details, I'm like, why are some pictures softer than the others? Like, that doesn't make sense. The subject didn't move. I didn't refocus. I didn't do anything. It was just, some of them will be spot on focus, and some of them wouldn't, and that would like bother me. So, and I knew there was like a Sigma calibrator and stuff like that, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna like invest in all this crap. I'm just gonna go straight L. So like after that, I sold my 35 and I got the 24-7.
Okay. Because the thing is, I was like that as well. Like when I first started shooting it, I was like, maybe there's something wrong with this, but I noticed it was like, personally anyway, with the 35 art, it was so good at focusing that it would like focus on like the tiniest area. Yeah. And I don't know if like, I mean, was yours just like not focused, or was it just focused?
Yeah, it was just area? No, it would just like miss focus completely.
Really?
I couldn't explain myself like why. Because it just would miss the focus. Like, if I press the button again to refocus, it would just miss the focus. And I'm like I'm not shooting anything that's moving, so it's like, why would it do that?
Some paranormal shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Yeah. Do you ever like blame your equipment when you're shooting because something's going wrong, or like when you were starting out? Do you think it really makes that big of a difference, your photography equipment?
I would say it does. To a certain point, obviously, like if you're shooting crop, you have your disadvantages. But I mean, I was shooting club events with like I told you, like that cheap ass Nikon that I had, and then I had a T2i that I was rocking with. Wow. I mean, and at that time, I was like, yo, like these pictures are all right. You know what I mean? Like, none of them were, super underexposed. None of them were crazy looking. So like I made it work. Yeah. So I just feel like, depending on what you're using it for, it doesn't really matter. Like if you're shooting in studio, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're shooting in broad daylight, it doesn't really matter. But when it comes to like certain situations, I would say good glass does make a difference. But ultimately it comes down to the artist. Like what are you shooting? Like what is the subject? So it matters when it comes down to what are you using the equipment for.
Okay. And like in terms of using equipment, where are you looking to travel? Like where are you looking to like countries and stuff like that?
Yeah, so like when I decided to upgrade, it was just more of like, okay, this photography thing is something that I want to take serious. So I'm like, I have to at least be in the industry level. So I did my research, and of course the 5D Mark III at the time was like was reigning king. And you know, I didn't have the budget for that, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for the budget friendly 6D, and I just, you know, made that jump, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that big of a difference, to be honest with you. With a 5D Mark III, it's more so just for film, but really, like, I mean, personally, anyway, like, nothing, like, I can't tell the difference, and the 5D is, like, much bigger, so I'm like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
It's, like, no point.
Yeah. I definitely want to upgrade to the Mark IV at some point.
Oh, yeah,
but until then, you know, I'll still rock with the 6D. You know, I feel like I've grown with it.
It's such a beautiful camera, man. Like I don't know what it is, but all the best photographers that I've ever met have had the 6D. I don't know what it is about that camera, but it's like a fucking golden camera that is just so good, reliable.
Exactly.
And if you're looking to upgrade, you should definitely look at like the Sony A7 II or something like that, whatever it's called. Yeah. It's crazy, man. If you've seen that, it's like 50 frames per second or something.
It's insane. My boy, he put on a Sony event out here in Orlando, and I was able to get my hands on an A9. Wow. And I'm like, that system is so ridiculously advanced. Like I don't have no use for it. Like the 50,000 frames per second, like I don't need that. You know what I mean? Exactly. But it was super dope though. Like, you know, just seeing, like, because I've never shot with a Sony camera before that. But you know, that system is very, very, very dope.
You know, for a fact, like when you're shooting street, like that silent shutter would be so useful. Because like when you're shooting out and you're just by yourself and you're like taking some pictures, like, fuck, I don't want to like come off as like a pedophile or something, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
you just you just spray a few rounds with that. You just literally like tap the shutter and take like 50 frames.
Yeah. It's just like no covert operation, nothing, man. Just go out there. Yeah,
it's crazy.
And are you looking to travel to any countries or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I don't even have my passport yet, but I'm always talking crap like, yo, yeah, you know, I want to go to Japan, I want to go to Europe, you know, like, but definitely, you know, I definitely want to come out to Europe. I definitely want to go to Japan. I want to go everywhere, man. Like, you know, that's like, you know, natural to me. It's just, I just want to explore. I want to experience things. I want to grow. I want to like connect, you know, like it's something that I definitely want to do for sure.
Okay. That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. I mean, do you do anything else apart from photography? What are other
I freelance as an audio-visual technician. So like I build shows and stuff like that. Oh. Okay. And then I also just play basketball, stay active. You know, I study movies. You know, but
you mean you watch movies? You mean you watch Netflix?
Yeah, like I watch Netflix. You know what I mean? And but you know, like. Just like not like your normal person where, you know, they're just, you know, searching for the plot. Like I'm looking like at the angles and stuff like that, and like the color grading, and it's like, that's amazing. You know what I mean?
Have you seen Precious?
Precious? Like Precious the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's got some of
it's
the
been
best
years.
Color grading. Like if you get the chance to watch it again, that's amazing.
Bro, I gotta rewatch it now.
It's like such good colors in it. Like it's just so consistent. But yeah, man, I'm the same. Like when I'm watching movies, or, you know, reading manga, I'm looking for those angles and looking for that inspiration, because it's like people don't realize like how much work goes into that. How good it is when it's executed well. You know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
No, I was just gonna tell you like there's these two movies that that I've watched recently. It's called Evolution. Like it's Evolución, like in Spanish, because it's like, I know there's like another one out there if you like Google search it. It's that the color grading in that film is insane. Like it's a foreign film, like it's in a totally different language, but I just watched it and just studied like the colors, like, you know, the way that director put that all together was crazy. Like the from the color of the clothing, from like the characters to their backgrounds to everything just meshed so well. It was super beautiful.
Yeah.
And then and also like the Discovery is another movie that has really been inspiring me as far as like color grading and stuff like that.
I mean, it's really an art.
Bro. It's insane. It's a whole nother, you know, element in itself.
Way to express yourself in your photography. You know, because you can have a good photo but like bad colors, you know.
Exactly.
So you got one element down, but there's so many others to like learn to perfect. I mean, I could ask you if you rooftop.
Rooftop, I have rooftop. I don't do that. That's not really the thing that I don't get that rush anymore to do that, because I feel like, you know, of course, especially on Instagram, like it's been played out for such a long time that I don't get that rush where I'm like, yo, I gotta scale my build, scale this building in Orlando, you know what I mean? But it was definitely like a part of the journey where I used to like always want a rooftop. I would still rooftop, like if it was for like, if it gave me like a dope angle on the city or something like that, because I do still love to shoot architecture, you know what I mean? I still love to shoot street, and I love to shoot that kind of thing. So if it would have present itself, then I would take the opportunity. But if not, like it's not something that I like focused on anymore. Yeah, like I'm more focused. Like I'm trying to like transition into like more like professional level. Not that that's not professional, but like more like industry standard, you know what I mean? Like trying to cater to that niche, you know what I mean?
Because I mean you can't always stay at that point forever, Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's dangerous. Dope, it's dangerous as well, because you see a lot of kids doing it these days as well, it's just not needed.
Yeah, man. And there's been crazy stories, like especially in New York and stuff like that, where these guys is they've lost their lives or they're gotten hurt.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. Not worth it. Yeah. I mean, if you die for like Instagram likes, like that's what you're chasing. It's just like
that's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, I think the most epic. I mean, I don't know if it's considered like a rooftop, but like the dude that scaled the pyramid in Egypt. He did like your usual like dangling feet thing, like off the top of the pyramid. I think that was like probably the most epic one that I've seen. I'm like, yo, after that I'm like, why would I scale a rooftop? Like my man just scaled a freaking pyramid. Like that's it.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
that's levels. Okay, well, I mean, where are you looking to be with your photography in 5 years time?
In 5 years, I'm just looking to grow. I'm looking to, be better. Perfect my style. I definitely want to, be more cinematic with it. Probably dabble with video. Just growth, really, man. That's what I like. That's what excites me, is just learning and like perfecting and finding new ways to tell my story or tell a story. So. I look forward to that. I look forward to like working, with companies and brands, of course, and and definitely more traveling.
Yeah, and evolving as you go. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
That's some good goals to go with, man. Definitely, for sure. And what would you say, just for the last question, for someone who's starting out in photography? What would you say? What would you advise them with for someone who's starting out?
I would advise them to just to shoot, study the art, know what you're doing it for, and just dedicate yourself to it. Like, don't do it because you see this guy doing it and he's popping, or you see this other person doing it and it's dope. Like, everybody starts off being inspired and stuff like that, but like there's always that fire, you know what I mean? Like, if there's a fire for it, then by all means feed the fire and just continue evolving off of that. Like if you want to flourish off of portraits, put your focus on that, perfect that, and then move on to the next. Like, don't spread yourself too thin. Just you see something that you're inspired by, if you want it, if you like it, fine, but always try to like add your twist and your story into it, because that's what's really gonna define you and like set you apart, especially now because everything's like so oversaturated.
Yeah, for sure. Really defining yourself is so important in a place where there's like thousands of photographers.
Yeah, man. Like how we were saying earlier, like it's like I feel like photography has become the new hip-hop. It's just it's another way to make it out. You know what I mean? It's another way to get your name out there, to get that recognition that we always want. We all want that.
Yeah.
So it's just like to be different, genuinely is just the way to go nowadays. Just to tell your story and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Definitely. That story is really what makes you unique. And how you bring that with you. But yeah. All right, guys. That's all for today. It was good having you on the show and having you on the Precinct project. I can't wait to have you on the next issue. Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
Sweet,
Thank you.
sweet. All right, man. See you guys next time.